Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, whenever you are watching this. First and foremost, I would like to say thank you to everybody that has liked, commented, and subscribed, and just even watched the video. I've had a lot of interesting and good comments, and I really appreciate literally all of the feedback that you guys have given me at the moment. And I'm so excited to actually grow this community and make more videos and invite even some of you onto the podcast. So I can start with that and just say thank you to everybody that has just essentially engaged with me in relation to this podcast. It honestly means the world to me. So today, the topic of discussion, and it's something that, I guess it's something that it's going to bear relevance to everybody in some sort of aspect, and it's going to require a little bit of, I guess, some self-analysis. And the topic of discussion today is essentially, how do we process pain? So in terms of pain, what do I mean? Less so in the sense of physical pain. I think in this aspect of things, it's pain in the sense of something like a setback or a challenge or some sort of emotional or mental pain that you are going through, because we all live in this new age of social media and stuff. So we are constantly fed a lot of stuff when it comes to just content and all that kind of stuff that, it might have an emotional or mental tax on everybody and yourself, and at the end of the day, you are the person who is let's say the driver of this capsule that you are wearing. That means your body. And you have to figure out ways to manage that capsule, because at the end of the day, you're going to have it until the day finally comes where it's over. So you got to figure out how to most efficiently use the tools that are out there for yourself to be able to self-regulate and self-manage yourself. And I guess pain is one of those things that we are not regularly, how do I say this? We're not accustomed to coming up with tools to manage this until the moment comes. And then you get all of these feelings where you're like, what the fuck? What am I feeling? And then all of a sudden, your behaviors and patterns start to change. And it's because we don't really know how to manage a challenge or pain or any sort of thing that comes into the way of just getting to a baseline, and because I've seen it for myself. Let me rather speak for myself in this aspect. I can dial it back to a few years ago when I feel like I'd have some sort of setback or challenge or some sort of emotionally taxing pain, whereby it's something that I have personally looked at myself and I was like, how did I do that back in the day? So before, I'd literally always have friends to chat to and stuff like that, but I didn't know how important that was in relation to that. I used to essentially bottle things up a lot, and I'd bottle it and listen, I'm very patient, especially with myself. But in aspects of, in times like that, you need to actually get to a point where you have a lot of discussions with a lot of people. And what I tended to do is bottle things up to a point where it come out in a really weird way. So the way that it came out for me essentially is that I just go on a weird spiral where I just go out once or twice a week. Then it happened where I'm going out all the time now, not 7 days a week or anything like that, but it was quite a lot, because that was not really the tendency of my natural behavior when I'm happy and I'm not thinking about much. And yeah, you start to do like silly things like that, and then when you're out, you probably have a little form, like a few more drinks than you usually would be, and then all of a sudden now you catch yourself in this like weird little spiral. And essentially, what you can boil it down to is, yeah, like I just didn't have the tools in my capability to learn how to process pain and understand what it actually is. And what's really important is, I mean, the younger you get, the younger you are, the better it is to learn how to use these tools, because as you grow as an adult and more responsibilities are born upon you, it's really important to like set a baseline of like how to self-regulate yourself in terms of managing challenges, because the challenges are essentially only going to get bigger the older you get, and the heavier, and the responsibilities are going to start weighing down on you, and the cost of those responsibilities are going to be even greater, so if you can find a way as a young person at this present time to learn how to manage pain and challenges and setbacks, you kind of set yourself on a good foot for the rest of your life, because at least you have some way to move past and not get stuck in that moment. Because one thing that also tends to happen in moments like that is that you can end up getting like the fact that you haven't learned how to process pain and challenges and setbacks in that time and place. So let's say a really big challenge happened when you were like 25, for example, and then you just didn't really process that at that time. And what tends to happen is that your emotional or mental development from you not actually processing that pain at that specific time and place in the most healthiest way, what tends to happen is that almost like you're stuck in a time capsule when it comes to that specific thing that you are dealing with. And then every other area of your life is like improving and it's growing and all that kind of stuff. But then when you met with a challenge that is very similar to what you went through when you were 25 and now you are 50 years old, then all of a sudden your reactions are really wild and then it's crazy. And now what tends to happen is that you are still in the 25-year-old mentality or like emotional space, because you didn't learn how to process that. All you did is just like put it to a side and never processed it. So you yourself are 50 years old, but your emotional stability and process of this particular challenge that you went through, and now you are met with it alike at a later age, you're actually 25 in that aspect of things. You haven't learned to grow past that and actually learn how to understand it and then process it as well. So yeah, that's why I think learning how to firstly understand how you process pain, because then like just look at your behaviors, like genuinely look at your behaviors at that time and place, and see how you tend to process that. Are you the type of person who screams and shouts and like all of a sudden you flip out and all of that kind of stuff? Just literally just observe yourself, and because life is the greatest teacher, and like the best life well lived is the life that you examine yourself, so yeah, like, are you the type of person who would just go out on a bender, or are you the type of person that would like literally sit down and like, I don't know, if you like to cry, then that's another way of processing pain. But just observe yourself, and then when you get to a space where you actually understand what is your natural understanding and your tendency when you are in a very heightened state where things are very uncertain and you are met with a particular challenge, now you can do, when you are in a better space, you can do like a self-analysis and see, okay, when I went through this challenge, what was the best tools for me? And then when you go through another challenge, you kind of look at it like objectively when you are in a better mental state, and just look at yourself and be like, okay, so I learned a lot from this particular thing, and I grew and I developed, and like it set me on a good path for the future. So look at what happened and what the things and methods that you took, and for you to be able to move past that in a healthy way in areas where you have grown and developed. But then you got to do the same alike for the things that you are still hung up on, and like the things that kind of still eat you up, and you still kind of go back to those moments, because everybody has demons, right? And everybody knows for a fact that like there's something that you still haven't internally dealt with, and then when it comes up, you like there's like a weird gut feeling moment where you're like, whew, it's yeah, and now all of a sudden you've become triggered or whatever. So then look at that moment and actually objectively see, like, why haven't I healthily dealt with this? Why can't I have come to some sort of peace when it comes to this particular challenge? Is there something that I haven't directly worked on? Because I think in moments like that as well, you kind of have to go directly to the pain and literally like sit in it, but like not too long, but you have to sit in it and understand what it is and where is it really coming from. Because I'll be honest with you, from my experience from therapy as well, like they're pretty much going to take you directly to the pain. Do you know what I mean? Like, what is the source of this pain? You're not targeting the symptom itself. You're targeting the root cause of this thing. If you're going to move towards moving past that pain, you literally have to directly diagnose it and then figure out, okay, how can I start firstly being kind with myself? I know it sounds like a very cliche, let me be kind with myself, namaste, everything is great. And like, no, yes, there's a lot of truth to cliches. I'm sorry, like, as corny as a lot of cliches sound, like they are buried in truth. So yeah, you have to like literally be kind with yourself and understand, okay, this thing happened. So am I gonna let it completely consume my life, and then every time an issue comes that is alike of that particular thing, am I going to be still stuck in it? And like, it takes a lot of energy to still be stuck in a moment in time, because then all of these feelings come up, and then like your brain is all fucked up, and your gut is all fucked up in the sense because you're like all triggered and you're not in a heightened state because you haven't dealt with that particular thing. It's a lot easier when you start to come to a point where you've learned how to process these things in a healthy way, so you have a better relationship with that particular pain. And then you could also even help somebody out because you've gone through all of this stuff, and then you can actually like lend a helping hand to somebody that is going through that time and thing at that particular moment, because you can empathize with them and be like, I know what you're going through because I went through it myself. You can have that like real conversation with them, and more often than not, like, people are definitely willing to listen, because nobody wants to go through any sort of challenge and like pain and all of that kind of stuff. But if you can have somebody that can speak to you directly that has gone through what you're going through or something similar or something bigger, it puts life into a bit more perspective for them, because yeah, you're obviously probably dealing in like a very heightened state at that moment. So yeah, it's like kind of finding healthy ways to process pain is something that like I'm really like very focused on at the moment. I mean, a few of you who know me have actually like seen that, like, okay, like a Rugby World Cup final, I was super excited, and then out of nowhere my Achilles tendon snapped, like literally like 20 seconds after the game happened. I was literally there jumping, celebrating, and then bam, there you go. Now, obviously, the people that know me much longer know that a couple of years ago, I did the same injury for the very first time when I was playing football. And yeah, it really set me back because I was like absolutely gutted. Like, it's a leg injury, it's hectic. And then I'm also like very reliant on people. And I'm like, So I started to get myself in a very dark space the first time that it happened. But now that I have that experience from before, what is very helpful is that, like, at least I know how to deal with it a little bit better based off the things that have happened over the last couple of months anyways. Is that, like, my mentality was like, I'm not gonna let this injury get me down, you know? So I was like, to be honest with you, I was having fun with it. I was just having banter all the time. People saw like my stories where I'm in the hospital, and there was like a guy next to me also in the hospital, by the way. I was sleeping and I'm there in pain, waiting to go into surgery. And literally, it's just two of us in this hospital room. And I'm laid down there, I'm sleeping. It's like the night before the surgery. So I'm like very nervous and stuff. And all of a sudden, all I hear is grrr, grrr. And I'm like, what the fuck is that now? I turn, because our beds are like very close to each other, but like not that close, but I can reach over to the curtain, and I'm like, that noise is hectic. I'll pull the curtain behind just to see what's cutting. Bruh, this guy is sleeping and he sounds like a motorbike, bruh. I'm like, oh my God. Like, then I was just like, no, well, I guess we're here now. So we got to deal with it and have fun with it. So I was just having banter with myself, like FaceTiming a few of my mates and bantering about it. But I was just like, you just got to like, literally in life, you got to make your own fun. Yeah, that was just like a little whimsical story for that. But yeah, we'll move aside from that. But yeah, so the second time when this injury happened, and I was like, literally like, okay, I'm not going to let it get me down. I'm just going to keep moving forward, like doing the little that I can with the resources that I can. And like, however able my body is, I'm just going to let go and just do what I can, So then obviously had the surgery, and then like 2-3 weeks later, I went for my first consultation, and I asked the doctor directly. I was like, when can I go to the gym again? And I'm literally there with my crutches and a big groot cast, my guy, like a plaster of Paris, literally on my ankle. And he's like, yeah, just wait like 1 or 2 more days until we know for certain, like the cuts and the where we did the surgery has like completely fully healed. And I was like, all right, cool, bet. I'm gonna take that information, and then day after that, I'm gonna go to the gym, because I know for a fact I need an outlet. I'm like chomping at the bits to like move my body. So then, yeah, I wait a couple of days, and I was just like, you know what? Okay, cool. I think it's time to go to the gym. But now there comes a challenge in itself, because again, now you guys know you guys know me very well, and that, like, yeah, I'm very much a cyclist and all that kind of stuff. So I use my bike to get everywhere as well, like work, commutes. I go to like meet my friends. I'm on a bike, like floating around Cape Town. I'm always on 2 wheels. But now I got 2 wheels, but I don't have 2 feet. There comes a challenge in itself. So now I'm like getting into my head of figuring out how on earth am I going to get myself to the gym? And it's not that far, to be honest. It's like I'd say probably like on a bike, it's like 2 minutes. But walking, it's probably about like 10-minute walk. But now I'm on crutches and I'm not a driver or a car, so then lies another challenge. So I was like, you know what? It's going to require a little bit of grit, but I really need to do this for myself. So I packed my gym gear. Then I realized, actually, no, I can't be carrying a bag and then this massive plaster of Paris on my ankle. So I was like, let me dress in my gym gear and then I'm going to crutch my way to the gym. Oh boy. The first day. Oh my God. My traps, my shoulders, my deltoids, every was screaming at me because I was like, yo, that gym is far, you know? And I'm like, okay, this is going to be quite hectic. So I'm going to have to figure out a really smart plan of how to do this. There wasn't none. So I think the first week or so, like first 2 weeks, shall I rather say, I went to the gym 3 times. But then I was like, let me just Uber there and back because imagine I'm working like parts of my upper body, and then when I'm crunching home and like literally crunching home, I'm using that upper body as well. So I'm like gassed out by the time I get here, and I'd have to take like a few breaks for like a little 10-minute journey. So then, yeah, that was like the challenge that I went through. But now I'm like having fun with it. I'm like, yeah, let me start crutching a bit more. Then I was like, no, I'm gonna crutch the whole way, and like now I'm crutching there and back, there and back, there and back, and exercising, and I'm like having fun with it, And then, yeah, like eventually they put me into this moon boot, and then like things started to become easier. Then I was allowed to put a lot of pressure on my foot, like literally onto the ground. So that made like the world of difference in terms of like my development, in terms of like literally just getting there and back. I had a lot more mobility. That was a way that I like it literally. All basically what I'm saying in this entire story is that it literally, by virtue of me trying to just get up and fight, like literally, I think it saved me psychologically from like a really dark space, because I know for a fact it would have eaten me alive had this been 2 years ago, when I didn't have the tools to be able to process what pain is itself. I would have let that sink me into a hole, and I would have just been like, oh, like very mopey and feeling sorry for myself, and like trying to gain sympathy, not like explicitly, but implicitly. And yeah, like now I thank God, like I have gotten to the point whereby it's just a lot easier, and I was like, let me just go fight the pain itself and go directly at it and find a healthy way to be able to process what I'm going through right now, because there's a lot of, there's a lot of like, I guess, confusion, there's a lot of anger, there's a lot of frustration that I had, but sitting down was not going to help me get past that, because like it just would have frustrated me even more, and I would have got into a much, I'd say, darker space in that, So yeah, I think that was a really healthy way. And now that's actually manifested. Now that my leg is, somewhat healed, I'm out of the moon boot, I'm out of the cast. Now I'm starting to walk with both my feet, which is, I'm so grateful for. It's helped me. Now I'm like cycling actively. Now I'm going to the gym in the morning, and then from the gym I'm going to go for a swim at Saunders. And when I'm at Saunders, like by virtue of me starting that whole crutching journey, it's letting me stay in that cold water a lot more, like a lot longer, shall I rather say. And yeah, like it's weird when you have a little bit more resilience and a way to process things in one area, like it starts to manifest in other areas of your life, because like it's just a simple task that you're getting through, like a pain barrier, for example, or some sort of threshold, and then that threshold is like, it's almost like a standard that has been raised in your. Before I was rudely interrupted, sorry, the camera cut out. I told you I'm a novice in this thing. But yeah, I was just saying that it's weird when you start to raise a standard in your life, that stuff kind of starts manifesting in other areas of your life. So, but you need to be able to provide yourself with the healthy tools to be able to process those challenges, because it's, again, with the challenge, whenever you're in a low, when the chips start to fall, you are unable to stop it. And like when it rains, literally it pours. Yeah, there's two cliches for you. But yeah, I've just seen it in my life when I'm like in a space where I'm able to process stuff in a healthy manner. It just makes my life so much easier. My perspective is a lot more clearer. It's not as dark that as it used to be. And it's helping me now to be able to just manage this capsule, like I was saying earlier. So yeah, essentially that's basically what I wanted to talk about today. I know a lot of people are going through a lot at the moment, and yeah, it feels like 2024 is one of those years where it's come in with its bullshit, to be honest with you. But we need to figure out ways in a healthy manner to be able to roll with the punches, because the punches are just going to keep coming. Yes, there's going to be a lot of joy, and I truly am an optimist in that. However, the joy won't feel as great if you aren't able to feel those moments of like deep pain and learn how to process it and not get stuck in those moments. Because yeah, like life is literally for the living. I want to feel every emotion. I want to feel every like setback. I want to feel every like piece of joy in its like entirety. But yeah, I also want to move past that, because like it's that whole cliche. Oh, another one. This too shall pass. um, but yeah, like, so I think it's just figuring out ways to be able to just live life in the best way possible and not get stuck in a rut. And yeah, 2024 is going to be a very interesting year. I've got a lot of belief of a lot of good things are going to come, but yeah, like strong people are made in winter, I really believe. So yeah, how are you going to get through the winter? Are you going to make a fire, or are you just going to sit there and shiver? That's pretty much it for today. Thank you so much for listening. Please don't forget to like and subscribe. And if you can comment, leave a comment. I'd really appreciate that too. And yeah, I'll catch you on the next episode. Thank you so much for listening. That's me.